So now I'm going to take you, I mean, this is really an amazing opportunity to have all of you sitting out here, so many, I think almost totally familiar faces, I know so many of you. And it's a captive audience. So what I decided to do was put together my version of the Jackie Reynolds School of Management, since I do come from Anderson, but you know, it's a very different school. All fantastic, as you can tell by the number of Anderson people here. And these are just my opinions. They're based on studies and on years of experience, but this is just the Jackie Reynolds School of Management, which, by the way, is free. You know what they say. So 8 easy lessons. Are you ready? My lessons may actually rankle some of you because I have been told by a few of the highest level executives at UCLA that we're not ready for them. I contend that it actually doesn't matter if we're ready. The old-fashioned, you're here and you're at your desk, so you must be working days are over. How many of you are currently managers? And how many of you hope to be? Okay, these lessons are for you. Lesson 1. If you want to genuinely hire and keep the best staff, my experience tells me that you have to find out what floats their boats and then make it happen. This means you need to get to know your employees well. I found that the only way to know what will motivate them is to in fact know them. Know their families' names and lives, know their stresses, know their hobbies, know their special talents. Don't let them feel anonymous. You can give an employee an Amazon gift card, which is often a perfect reward. But try giving a jazz lover tickets to the Catalina Club, or a soccer fan tickets to see the Galaxy play, or even an up-and-comer an exciting new challenge, and the value grows geometrically. When I've done this, I find that I hear not just, wow, you were watching, but also, and how did you know? If they're here today, which I don't see them, you can ask Albert Wu or Jeff Barnes about slick car racing. I was constantly backwards and being hit. It was a nightmare, but they thought it was fun. It was over 15 years ago, and I would bet anything that not only do they still remember that day, but more importantly, they still remember what they did to earn that day. Lesson 2. More and more new young staff are going to live far from the West Side, and the cachet of UCLA is not going to make them drive up to 2 hours each way from homes they can afford and families they love to spend time with just to work here. Instead of thinking of all the reasons a person can't telecommute, think of all the creative ways that maybe they can. A just published Stanford study showed that employees working at home experienced a 13% performance increase, of which about 9% is from working more minutes per day, and 4% from more productivity attributed to a quieter working environment. And dozens of studies analyzed by scholars at Penn State show that telecommuting actually boosts productivity, performance, job satisfaction, and overall life satisfaction. It reduces turnover, stress, and work-family conflict, and it does so largely by giving people increased control. Additionally, for the approximately 80 million millennials, where are they interesting, ages 18 to 35, and yeah, a few. I know you're out there. A Forbes magazine article, along with almost actually all research on this generation, says that quality of life and flexibility trump everything else. If you give them that, they will rock your world. This tech-savvy generation is essentially able to work anytime, from anywhere, with an internet connection. So to them, seemingly arbitrary work hours or having to sit at a desk all day is less appealing. A 2012 study of the generation discovered that millennials will actually sacrifice pay for increased vacation time or the ability to work outside the office, offering flexible scheduling or telecommuting, provided performance remains consistent, can meet their desire for flexibility while also showing your trust. And speaking of telecommuting, if you have a loyal superstar employee who has to move far away, try to find a way to keep him or her rather than just cutting them loose. It may not always work out, but it's worth a try. It costs over 230% of a knowledge worker's annual salary to find, hire, and train a replacement. And what are the chances that that replacement will be as wonderful in the end? There's very little that can't be done from anywhere in the world. Figure out a way to respond to that little bit, and then focus on what can be done. Lesson 3. Providing this level of flexibility for your staff requires that you embrace technology. You don't have to understand how it works, or even why it works. But I encourage you to accept and support that it works. Remember, email was once only for techies. Now, it's for great-grandparents. And it's rarely used by college kids. You have to keep up. Sorry, it's not funny. Lesson 4. Keep abreast of salary trends and fight hard to keep your staff within spitting distance of market. You'll be told there isn't the money, but what UCLA and your department really don't have the money for is turnover of excellent, loyal staff, only to replace them with someone at the salary you should have paid the lost employee, or with a possibly, or even likely, substandard employee who will take the low salary and then saddle your department with inefficiency for all time. Your top employees typically know what they're worth, and they know when they're not getting it. I've witnessed that they start poking around, and once they have one foot out the door, physics tells us the other foot will follow. And in the rare cases where a counter offer succeeds, it sends an absolutely dreadful message to your remaining staff. Fight hard to do what you should do before people have to beg, and well before they move that foot. And lesson 4B, I can tell you they were B's. If you still can't get the money you need to pay market, don't fret. Go back to item 3. As mentioned above, progressive public sector employees can provide a menu of options where flexibility can trump slightly lower wages. Build that menu. Lesson 5. Never deny a vacation or force a person with a sick or injured loved one to come into work. Work out a flexible arrangement that keeps work flowing while allowing people to be where their heads and their hearts are anyway. Before you know it, based on my experience, they're back at work with their heads in the game and their hearts full of gratitude. Lesson 6. Most employee satisfaction studies say that the #1 motivator is challenging, meaningful work. Your teammates need to know in very specific terms how to tie what they do to its value at the institution. They need to know how to measure that value. So take the time with each and every member of your team to help him or her figure out how the game is played, how to keep score, and how to be the MVP. Lesson 7. Accept the fact that getting an employee promoted, even if it's to somewhere outside your organization or even outside UCLA, is the greatest contribution that you can make as a leader. And if you can buck that nagging feeling that you just need to hire from the outside and make promotions happen within your organization when they can, you'll add hope to recognition in your organization. And finally, lesson 8. Management isn't a chore. It isn't babysitting or whip cracking unless you let it be. The opportunity to manage, in my opinion, is a gift. Give some flexibility and you'll get it back many times over and when you need it most. Value the self-fulfilling prophecy which says, if you believe a person is valuable and you let them know that you think they can handle whatever comes their way, and you create an environment where they have every chance to succeed, they will live up to your expectations. By the way, little side note, it works with kids. And when you practice the self-fulfilling prophecy with your staff and someone doesn't perform to your expectations, get rid of them. It's not as hard as it seems, even here at UCLA. It gives you the credibility you need to keep everyone else on your team involved and committed. Now, I have just one simple lesson for those of you who aren't managers. Non-managers here? Hands? Be the employee you'd want to manage. when given flexibility, telecommuting, opportunities, trust, recognition, and hope, do not squander them. Reward your enlightened leader by delivering in spades. Ask for what you need, step it up, and make magic happen. So maybe UCLA as a whole isn't quite ready for 21st century leadership, but I believe we turn a blind eye at our own risk. Many of you know more than one amazing person retiring from UCLA in the next few weeks. Eddie Glick, Dave McDonald. Can't imagine this place without either of you. We boomers are finally getting the hell out of the way. I know, the you Gen Xers have been like, tick-tock, tick-tock. But growing the next generation of administrators will require that we embrace the concept of a truly balanced life, that we allow technology to provide options that make sense, and that we show flexibility in making things work. We may not be ready to manage a crew of telecommuters or young pups who always have new ideas for how to do things better, or people who want to work late into the night so they can spend an hour or two at a playground with their toddler in the middle of the day. Yeah, we may not be ready, but they are. Thank you so much for being here.